afternoon, everybody. I can take it by the turnout today that you are as excited as we are to show off our progress on InvadR, Busch Gardens Williamsburg's 8th roller coaster to our family of coasters, and our park's first wooden roller coaster. So you're going to see some great progress today. I think you're going to be thrilled with what we've done since you probably last saw it, which was in that November, December time period, I would suppose. So we really look forward to showing off for you, and the anticipation with this attraction is really palpable, and we can't wait to bring this coaster to our fans, to our guests here in April. So thank you for being here today. This is just the latest example of our continued investment in Busch Gardens Williamsburg and Water Country USA, and really a key component of the overall destination of Greater Williamsburg. So we're excited to be a part of Greater Williamsburg and be able to show you the continued investment that we're making in our parks. It's very ironic being here today because if I recall, my very first day as park president was the announcement of InvadR on Past Member Preview Day almost a year ago. And I was excited to, on my very first day, be able to be part of what a great announcement and an unprecedented level of transparency into the design process, the development process, and to bring our fans along with that. And if you recall, our marketing team did a great job of teasing out some videos as we got closer to preview day, getting folks excited about what we were gonna be announcing. And then we started that very first day of our announcement with getting our fans involved by deciding the ride name. And that was just the first of several parts of the fan engagement process. Later on, our fans picked the logo, and of course, who could forget our Faces of InvadR component of our marketing campaign. So all along, this has really been a journey for us with our fans. We have the greatest fans in the world. There's no doubt about that. We have the most passionate, loyal fans, and we're so excited to be able to bring this ride to Busch Gardens in Williamsburg. Some of the things that really excite me about this ride, obviously it's our first wooden roller coaster, and I think fans have been asking for years, why don't we have a wooden roller coaster, and now we do. And so we're excited to bring that to fruition finally. You'll see the integration and the interaction with our railroad and with our flume ride, which makes it very unique, and in a way I think only Busch Gardens can really deliver. And so we're excited to bring that to you as well. And I think the last part of it is at 46-inch height requirement, this is going to be a great family attraction. It's going to have the thrills and the speed and the drop, and you'll hear about that from Susie and Adam and how we've brought those components all together to make it a really family thrill attraction. So 46 inches, it could be for many young kids their very first sort of big kid roller coaster, and so what a great opportunity for that as well. So again, thank you for being here today. Thank you for your interest and your engagement and your excitement about this ride. We can't wait to show you the site. We're getting closer and closer every day. If we can get the weather to cooperate, we'll continue to make really good progress on our schedule and deliver a ride opening in April. So I'm going to hand it over to Susie Cheeley, and she's going to tell you a little bit about some of the technical elements of the ride. Thank you.
The interaction between the flume and the train is unbelievable. I mean, I can't wait for you guys to ride it in a few weeks. It's really going to be fun. It's been interesting to build, but even in the planning stages when we're trying to decide on the footprint, Adam with Great Coasters, who you'll talk to in a minute, he was very instrumental, and we talked about how we really wanted it to kind of thread through some of the other attractions and have the guests really feel that sense of speed going through the different areas. We tried to keep a lot of the trees and things like that. So I think you guys are really getting excited.
No, like Susie had alluded to, this ride's going to be really great. It's going to be a ride that you're going to walk up to the plaza and say, wow, that ride has been there for years. And with a ride that we can integrate in and be able to work around the log flume, work around the train tracks, work into this plaza area, to me always makes things really exciting, and it makes things different. And that's the effect that we want to do. We want to make you feel like InvadR has been here forever. So kind of all that being said, I'm going to keep it brief. I'm going to hand it back over to Ron, and we'll break up into groups. I'm sure everybody wants to see this ride.
Oh, seriously?
What's up, Jason? How you doing, man? Yeah, it's gonna be awesome, right?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
It's gonna be just a fun ride.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
right.
Like,
I mean, I feel like I said, I've been on White Lightning many times, but that's
so let everybody gather in here. So this is the ride station for InvadR. What makes InvadR unique is that a lot of the kind of nitty-gritty parts and pieces of this ride actually came from Gwazi down in Tampa, Florida. This ride is actually going to be an 8-car train versus the 12-car train that Great Coasters typically does. And so when we actually dial it down to an 8-car train, we can actually get a little more snappy, a little more twisted, a little more crazy with some of the shapes and elements that we do. And so this ride's going to feel kind of a little bit of, you're going to feel those snaps, you're going to feel those twists. You're going to feel those crazy elements while you're out on the ride. And those are typically dialed in because of that smaller train, and we can do those type of things. Again, like I said, the trains and the actual brakes and this gray bar that you see here, the lap bar release in the station, these are all recycled from Gwazi down in Tampa, Florida. It's a great way to kind of save a little bit of money on this ride, and it worked out well with the park when they came to us and said, hey, can we use these parts and make a whole new ride for Williamsburg? We said, absolutely. You know, we can. It's a great idea. And so it just made sense to be able to use that. What's great about it is it kind of created a unique experience for us, because typically we create everything from the ground up, and it's all brand new, including the trains and the brakes. And GCI staff is the people that actually build all those parts and pieces. With this ride, the maintenance personnel here at Busch was actually responsible to rebuild the trains and rebuild the brakes. Of course, we had a guy down here to kind of give feedback and give insight into the best way to do things. But what's great is the park staff already has a great hands-on experience of the ride, of the trains, of kind of the product that they're getting. So, you know, as they go into the first season of operation, things are going to be easy, they're going to be quick to fix, and at the end of the season when they tear the trains down, it's going to be a piece of cake for these guys. So what you guys are coming into now is the maintenance building, or the transfer building. It's called the transfer building because this is what we call a transfer track. This side's a little bit unique. So this side's actually a steel rail track. It's not going to be the track that you ever run on, so you'll never ride the ride and see this steel track here. You'll actually be on the other side, which is the wood track. But we actually installed this a few years ago on a ride for maintenance and the ease of maintenance during the season. If you've ever toured any of the rides like the B&M coasters here, you'll actually see a very similar maintenance rail where they actually take the train and keep it off the main running wheels. That's kind of the idea behind this track, is we actually keep it elevated off the main running wheels. So if there is an issue, the park maintenance can come in here and switch out wheels and switch out parts very, very easily. Again, this whole entire track actually switches over. So one train will actually be stored here at night, and the other train will be on the other side. If they want to bring both trains on operation, basically they'll put the first train on the lift hill, the other train will be parked here, and they'll release it up to the station and move this whole track back. The transfer track will move back, and you'll actually have that run-through side will be the main side that you run on. Okay, in this area you can see there's kind of a lot going on. This is the main lift of the ride, so this is what we're actually going to put the energy into the train with, and then push you over the top. You can see that's coming back here towards us is actually the brake run. This is going to be the main brake run that's going to bring all the speed out of you. It's actually got a little bit of a slope to it. You can actually see it's kind of got a bank to it. Whenever we use mag brakes, first of all, mag brakes are great because they bring you to a nice smooth stop at the end of the ride. But whenever we do mag brakes, we actually have to keep an air gap in between the brake pin and the actual mount that's on the track itself. And so when you see that angle that's going on in that slow section right there, that's the reasoning behind that. With this ride, you can see, this is actually a great view to see this, is the ride's actually a steel structure ride. With most wood coasters that we build, they're 100% wood. But a few years back, we actually built our first steel frame wood coaster. And we did the same thing here at Busch. When we presented the idea to Busch, they realized it was a great idea to kind of cut down on their seasonal maintenance that they have to deal with, and it still looks aesthetically very pleasing. It still looks like a wood coaster. With the site that we had to deal with here, being able to go over the log flume and being able to go over the various train tracks here and things, you can see that we've got these big spans and these big steel bridges here. These bridges are the way that we can actually elevate that track and still support you and provide access for all the things that need to happen down underneath the ride. This is a great view of kind of all those bridges and things out on the ride. With a site like this, it's always very challenging. One, because you've got the rides you've got to deal with, and two, because of the topography. You'll see kind of when we go on the backside that there's a big hill over there on the back that we had to deal with. So this ride kind of took all those challenges and threw them all at us. What was really unique about InvadR is it kind of dictated itself. It almost designed itself. We kind of did some first initial layouts, and as we said, okay, this track needs to go here, it absolutely had to go over there to get over the flume, to get over the train track. And so what was neat about this ride is it kind of designed itself as we went along in the process. We took InvadR and unwound the whole thing. This would kind of be the midpoint where we take you out and kind of bring you back if it was an out and back. But the good thing is we've taken all that and kind of twisted it all up and created InvadR with this. On this track, you kind of see what we call the batters. The batters actually keep you retained laterally. So as this track's making a turn, making the bank, we actually have to drive that force down through somewhere. So these kind of forces that you see through here are called the batters. Up on top of the lift hill, you'll actually see the tunnel starting to take shape. So that's actually going to be sheathed in. What we're going to do is put all the wood frame on the outside of it. And eventually what's going to make for a really very awesome thing is you're going to be picking up speed as you come around this turn. You're going to really kind of get light and catch a little bit of air as you start to go into that first tunnel. Right as that ride's really cranking up the speed, you're going to end this tunnel, go into light, go into another tunnel. So it's going to make for a super, super unique, super exciting area as soon as you get down in there and you hit that area.
With the addition of the tunnel, that seemed fairly new with the animation. Was that always part of the original plan?
Yeah, so Busch Gardens Williamsburg has done a great job at kind of being able to work with the enthusiasts, work with the fans, to come up with a name, to come up with a theme. And this was kind of a surprise that they wanted to keep back. Obviously, part of the design process is we have to be able to integrate in different features. When we put a tunnel up on top of the ride, we basically got a big wind load, right? So we're going to build a big wall, and so we have to design for that. And so we've known for quite a while now that there would be a tunnel up there, but the park's done a great job at kind of keeping that back and being able to deliver really cool and unique information like that along the way to the fans. So it's been great.
Was that also because of Gold Striker's success with their enclosed tunnel?
Yeah, you know, I think there's a lot of rides that have really great tunnels on them. And it was kind of one of those things that as we started to talk to the park, they thought, you know what, to have a couple tunnels incorporated in the ride is really going to kind of add that wow factor. So it really will. We make it out here in time, you guys will actually get to see a paint gets split. It'll be pretty cool.
So how long does it take to lay out a coaster of this size?
Well, with a ride like this in particular, that usually takes a couple iterations. We'll cut through here. It actually takes a couple iterations, so we'll actually come up with a few different layouts.
Yeah.
And work with the park and say, okay, here's if you can visualize, here's what the ride's going to do. It's going to drop here and do a twist here. And so we kind of iterate through that maybe 2 or 3 times before we finally come out with a layout that really works great on the site. But I would say it's probably between a 2 or 3 month process to kind of dial that in. What we always try to do, right, you've got these nice straight camelbacks, which are typical, but then you've got camelbacks kind of like going to that helix, where we start to get air and really slam you down before you crank into the next element. When you ride this ride now, and in 5 years, and in 10 years, no doubt it's going to feel the same. Smooth. Any other questions?
I'd like to know one question, Adam. What's in the shed?
Wrong site.